Good morning. Let's see, the sun is very bright today. Anyway, welcome to Rundle's Urban Farm. Today I'm bringing you another garden tour. We've got some interesting things going on in the garden. I just pruned and trellised up a lot of the tomatoes so you can see a little more the difference between the varieties, and we've got a lot coming on that are almost ripe. We've got beans going absolutely gangbusters and lots of squash going lots of places. So hope you enjoy. Oh, and I might do a tomato taste test at the end. Okay, so first off here, we've got a couple jalapenos. They are staying pretty tiny. Is a King of the North bell pepper, both of these, and then these are little Nepali orange peppers. I'll show you one that's doing a little better further into the garden. We've got our purple dove bush beans, which have produced quite a few beans already, but I've not been picking them as frequently as I should, so they've slowed down a bit. Got a couple eggplant that are starting to pick up. Carrots that are ready to harvest. Let's see if I can avoid the sun for this shot. Bush beans, pole beans rather, and they are crossing this bridge that I made for them between both sides of the garden. This is just cotton threaded between their trellis and the top trellis up here. Then we've got zucchini over here. And we've got a little, oh, I picked one yesterday off of that plant, and then we've got another little one up here. And these ones stay pretty skinny, so they're really nice for eating fresh. Not just eating raw. Okay, and then back here, got another zucchini plant, and this one is a little more in the shade, so we don't have any zucchinis off of it yet. The onions mostly have been harvested, so I need to either plant some cucumbers or carrots in this section to fill in where they were. Then we've got our tomatoes. So this first one here, straggling behind a little bit, is Inchiardi paste. Then we've got Anna Banana Russian right here, and we've got one that's starting to blush a little bit. That'll turn a bright yellow. Then we've got Church, and these are one of my very favorite varieties. They all get to about a pound once they're ready to harvest, and they're big, most often shaped like this guy here. But these ones are already starting to blush, which is pretty early for Church since it's such a huge variety. Then we've got Smileys here, and I harvested one off of this guy yesterday, but we've got another here that's almost ripe, and this variety is really resistant to cracking, which is really nice, because you can see a lot of these other varieties crack. Like this one here, that's an Anna Russian. So yeah, so Anna Russian here, and we've got one of those inside that we can do with our taste test. Then we've got Heidi. I've also got a ripe one of those. These guys have not even made it to the trellis. They are called semi-determinate, which I think means they will keep producing fruit, but the plants themselves are determinate in height, meaning they're not going to get much taller than this. Evidently, I didn't need to plant them in the trellis area. Then we've got pink Berkeley Tie Dye, which is one of the more fascinating looking ones. And it's also the most prone to splitting of anything I've grown. It might be because it's right next to the soaker, but it splits a lot. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna need scissors to get that one. All right, and then we've got our various squash. These are a mixture of Hubbards and pumpkins that are all tangled together. And then we've got Some more pole beans that are over 8 feet tall. Quite lovely. These flat ones like this are my favorite for eating. They taste really nice and they're not so thick and mushy when you bite into them. And then we've got pumpkins and Hubbard squash all mixed up together here. There's some really big ones somewhere in here. Well, there's one. And the other ones I can show you from the outside of the garden. And as we carry on back here, we've got some lovely sunflowers and more tomatoes. So we've got orange banana here on the end. That's this little paste tomato. We've got Cosmonaut Volkov, which seems to be prone to sun scald. We've got another Cosmonaut here, and this one's almost ripe. We've only harvested one of this variety so far, but it was pretty early. Then we've got Cherokee Purple here, which is prone to this radial cracking, but still worth growing because the flavor is so good. And we've got Opalka, which I just find fascinating, this really strange shape of them, and they're huge. Then we've got Cherokee Purple with some that are getting ripe. Orange banana, that one there is starting to blush just a little bit. And then got Heidi, again quite short. This one has reached the trellis, but look at all those fruit on that one little cluster there. And then we've got Anna Russian and another Smiley. This guy's a little bit behind. He got planted later than the rest. Church, also behind for some reason. No excuse there. And Anna Russian and Russian 117, which is some sort of paste variety. Oh, and these little guys hiding in here. I just love the black-eyed Susan vine. All right, and on the outside, we've mostly got squash. So here is an acorn squash. This variety is called Thelma Sanders, and it's gonna stay this white color. It's supposed to taste better than sweet potatoes, which is really exciting. Should be green acorns in here too, but I haven't seen any. There's another big white guy there. And we've got our marigold bush. This is kabocha squash. You can see we've got a few of these on the vines, and they should get a bit bigger than that. Some Thai basil. A sundak sunflower, which we're trialing for seed savers. This is butternut, and butternut takes forever to get any female blossoms, so we've just got some male blossoms on there. Purple basil, marigolds being overtaken by Hubbard and pumpkin vines. We've got this pumpkin in here is hanging out, literally hanging from the bean vines. And we've got this massive Hubbard here, which is probably a good 15 pounds already. And yeah, now let's take a look at our container gardens. We've got basil here, a Smiley Eagle yellow cherry tomato. This is Yellow Brick Road, which is a nice compact dwarf variety. We've got one ripe on there. I harvested a bunch off of it yesterday. Then we've got Emerald City. Now this one is a green when ripe tomato. This tomato is almost ripe. You can see there's sort of a yellow red tinge to it. This one, I'll try and find one here that's not ripe. See, this one has no yellow tinge to it. So that's the difference on a green when ripe tomato. Well, this one's ripe versus this one not being ripe. Then we've got our purple cabbages, which evidently the moths have decided to enjoy. Alright, so as I said, the cabbage are getting attacked. Typically the moths are not supposed to like the purple cabbage, but evidently these ones have been sitting here long enough that they finally found them. We've got Moonlight Mile here, which I need to look this guy up. It sure feels like this one is ripe, but I'm not exactly sure what color that's supposed to be. And we've got Ildi, which is this fun little oblong cherry tomato, and Ruby Slippers. Not sure if I think I have one of these inside to taste test, but I'll pick this guy just in case. These ones are really, really delicious. Over here we've got our trial varieties, subarctic plenty, or subarctic cherry rather, primus, and droplet. And none of these are worth adding to the taste test. They're not very good. But if you want a really early tomato, they're good for that purpose. We've got our green cabbage here under cover to protect it from those nasty cabbage moths. And here in the greenhouse, we've got our peppers. Bell peppers, banana peppers, more bells, more bells. This is a freaky hot pepper that I'm not going to eat myself. Micah plans to try it. And then we've got more bell peppers, sheep nose pimento, purple bell, micro dwarf tomato, Bulgarian carrot peppers, rosy finch, snedrick and bonsai tomatoes, fish pepper, which is variegated, Kalugaritsa, Zolostitzi bell pepper back there, another Kalugaritsa, jalapeno, and some other ones. They're not visible because of the sun. And a purple beauty, and another bell pepper, and some more jalapeno. Alright, so we are finally ready for our tomato taste test here. This is Smiley, Anna Russian, Cherokee Purple, Heidi, Pink Berkeley Tie Dye, Ruby Slippers, Yellow Brick Road, Emerald City, Smiley Eagle Yellow, Rosella, Anne's Sweet Pink. I'm not going to taste that one, that's Desert Star and it's not good. And Moonlight Mile. Alright, so give me a few minutes and I will cut these up. Alright, so here's what they look like cut open. Got Ruby Slippers, Yellow Brick Road, Emerald City, Smiley Eagle, and Sweet Pink, Rosella, Cherokee Purple, Pink Berkeley Tie Dye, Heidi, Smiley, and Anna Russian. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna start with Ruby Slippers, and that's what it looks like on the inside. Ruby Slippers is really sweet. It's got a good depth of flavor. It's very tasty. The skin is a little thick, but it's really tasty. It's like candy. Let's see. Here is Yellow Brick Road. It's got a little bit of a pink blush there, if you can see it. Yellow Brick Road is a lot more tart. It's got pretty good flavor. I just didn't really like sweeter tomatoes than that. Then we've got Emerald City. Really comparable to Yellow Brick Road. It starts out sweet and then it finishes kind of tart. Really good texture though. That's a nice tomato. And we've got Smiley Eagle Yellow Cherry. This was one of our favorites from last year. That one might have been a little underripe. It was very tart. Normally that one's really sweet and juicy. Here we've got Anne's Sweet Pink, which was supposed to be a cherry, but that doesn't really look like a cherry. Really classic red tomato flavor. Not like a store-bought one, sweet, sweeter than that. But yeah, just a kind of a traditional tomato flavor. All right, then we've got Rosella here, which is a purple cherry tomato. The variety of flavors that you get all in one bite with Rosella is really fascinating. It's a really good tomato. It's sweet. Kind of reminds me of grape juice, but it's really good. And we've got Heidi here. It's a little harder to taste these paste tomatoes because the insides falls out. But it's best if you can get a little bit of the seeds and a little bit of the meat of the tomato. It's a little more bland, but as paste tomatoes go, it's not bad. Tastes like aroma. And this is pink Berkeley Tie Dye. This is supposed to have really good flavor. It's darker than the camera makes it look here. Pretty tart. And compared to all the cherries, pretty bland. Not amazing texture either. This is Cherokee Purple. It's better than pink Berkeley Tie Dye. Kind of tastes a little tart right now. Probably would have been better harvested later in the day. And then we've got Anna Russian. Looks like that on the inside. This is technically a paste tomato, but it's got a little more seeds than a typical paste tomato. It's pretty good. It's a little sweet, a little bit almost like a pumpkin-y flavor, which is kind of odd, but pretty good. And then we've got Smiley, which is your classic hamburger tomato here. Follow those bigger ones. It's got the best texture. Kind of bland flavor-wise. I guess I shouldn't put cherries up side by side with slicer tomatoes because there's really no comparison. I'd say out of the mix, the Ruby Slippers is definitely the best. Yeah, it tastes like candy. Super yummy. And probably Rosella or, yeah, probably Rosella. I'm gonna try find a more ripe Smiley Eagle and see if it's a little bit sweeter. Yeah. So, Yellow Brick Road and Rosella, or sorry, Smiley Eagle and Rosella are very comparable. Sweet with quite a intensity of flavor, but Ruby Slippers just all around sweetness, tastes like candy. Best one in this trial today. Of the big ones, probably Anna Russian has the best flavor, followed by Cherokee Purple, but the best texture definitely goes to Smiley. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the taste test of tomatoes brought to you by Rundle's Urban Farm. And hopefully we'll do another one later this summer when we've got some of the other varieties like Anna Russian and orange, or Anna Banana Russian and orange banana, and some of those other ones ripe. And maybe we won't put them up against cherries because hands down the cherries win flavor-wise.